So this is the stomach, and you have to know the regions. There's 4 regions. The first one is the cardiac region, which is this part right here. Don't confuse it with this part. This is another part. The cardiac region is only this part right here.
Fundus.
The fundus region is right here, which is the first part of the stomach, or for me it's the first part. Next is the body of the stomach, which is this whole middle area. And last is the pyloric region, which is this funnel-shaped region, cone-shaped, this whole thing right here. The greater curvature is the biggest curvature right here, and the lesser curvature is this right here, this curvature. It says we need to know something called the greater omentum, which we should know that it's this right here, in this model, this part right here, and the lesser omentum, which we cannot see in the models. Inside of the stomach, there's these little wrinkles called
Rugae.
rugae. And you should know that the wrinkles extend whenever there's food. Your stomach is full. Extending your stomach. After that, we basically pretty much go into slides. The gastric pits, the gastric glands. We should know the location, the cell secretions, and all that. Some of the cells in there are the mucous neck cells, which secrete mucus. The parietal cells, which secrete hydrochloric acid, an intrinsic factor. The mucus cells are right here, the first ones pretty much, after the gastric pits, which are the holes of the stomach, where you're receiving nutrients, etc. Mucus cells, they secrete mucus to lubricate stuff.
And they're thin. I think they're see-through thin.
Next is the parietal cells, which secrete hydrochloric acid. And you should know that hydrochloric acid has 3 things that it does. The first one is it kills microorganisms. The second one is it denatures proteins, or it changes their shape. That's what denature means. And the third one is it activates pepsin, which
An intrinsic factor.
an intrinsic factor which
Causes it to absorb B12. Causes B12 to be absorbed for red blood cell manufacturing, production.
Another thing that it secretes is, wait, not yet. Did you finish? Another type of cell is the chief cells.
Chief cells.
The chief cells are deeper in the gastric pits, and the chief cells.
It secretes enzymes, and it causes pepsinogen to be converted into pepsin, which.
Okay, you may notes for a moment. Let me say this to you too, if anybody's taking pictures of this. All this back here is whenever Harrison went through it, I would sit there and write what from top to bottom or what was on each slide. Those are all slide related.
Okay, thank you.
Pepsinogen
To pepsinogen to
to
pepsin.
pepsin, which breaks down protein.
And the last type of cells are down here.
And that is the enteroendocrine cell, which secretes a hormone called gastrin, which causes stomach motility and activity.
Yes, it releases into the blood, and then it stimulates the gastric juices to
Activate
to
the
activate.
stomach and causes it to start moving.
And the last thing you should know is chyme, which is a creamy paste full of hydrochloric acid.
And chyme is actually the food that's mixed with hydrochloric acid, which breaks down the food.
I didn't know that. Okay.